thank you for a special edition of Chaos and Recovery. This is our Halloween edition. And today's guest, we have Sarah Gagne? Gagne. I got that right.
You did.
Okay, good. This next part I might mess up, but okay. Sarah Gagne is of Le Chat Noir Tarot. And she is a psychic medium and intuitive tarot card reader.
Very good. You did that very well.
I nailed that, right? You can just tell me yes.
Yep, it's actually tarot. You can say it however you want. A lot of people will say tarot, but I say tarot.
Right.
But that's
tarot.
okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can say, it's like tomato.
Tarot. No, tarot sounds terrible.
It does?
Yeah,
okay.
tarot card reading.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yep, whatever you want.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah,
so happy to have you here.
Yeah, very happy to have you. Now, we first found out about you through Soul Sanctuary.
Correct.
We wanted to do kind of Halloween edition, and the reason why I got pulled to you was your sign that said "The Witch is in," or the little block of things. And
truly, he was like, "Who's the witch?"
Yeah,
obviously, it's me.
Yes. Yeah, so excited. We haven't done a themed episode, and usually we talk to people about addiction or mental health stuff, and so it's really nice to not talk about that shit for once and talk about something else. And yeah. So I'm interested in getting this started.
Okay.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this for?
So I'm actually going on my 10th year of doing it as like a professional gig. Although, as we were kind of chatting earlier off camera, I started when I was 14. What I was really interested in was tarot in general, cards in general. I was really drawn to them. And being as it was the mid-90s, it was the 90s. So going to like a Barnes & Noble was pretty much the only place you could get any references. Now it's a little bit more mainstream, so you can go into... I know, right? And it's evolved over the course of time. Yeah. But being that, 13, 14-year-old kid standing in front of the New Age section at Barnes & Noble, that's when it really started.
Yeah.
So my interest was piqued, and then life happens. I graduated high school, went to college, did all my fun stuff, lived here, there, and everywhere. And then after I got married and had kids, it was like the light bulb went off, and I was drawn right back into it. And I had a business before I even had a business.
Yeah.
So it's been, I trust the universe has a process for everybody, and mine has just been, I'm on a rocket ship and here we're going. So, or a broomstick, if you will. Yeah. And here we go. So I'm perfectly happy with the way that things have been, but I've been at Soul Sanctuary since, I think May is my first, but I had known the owner, Justine, who I know that you have done a previous podcast with. Yeah. For a long time. So I'm happy to be there. It's incredible as a collaborative. There's a lot of great people in there that do different things. And I'm just one of the metaphysical light workers that's kind of tucked in the corner that, you wouldn't necessarily know that there's a tarot card reader and there's a medium that's already there, but there's somebody else that kind of does something similar.
Sure.
So, we all have different gifts and we all do different things. So I'm happy to be part of that. And it's definitely a cool place to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's really, it's cool because you were saying I'm happy to get away from that stuff, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I think it's, my experience with my own mental health and, spiritual journey. We talk about that side a lot and recovery and certain programs and that medical side of it, then crossing over into the spiritual side of it. And I think it's just like this bridge, the way I see it. And I think that the work that is being done at Soul Sanctuary and especially in the metaphysical world, there's so much to say about like the healing properties of that and, opening up maybe parts of you that you've never even known existed.
Right.
And have some understanding of who you are, why you tick, how you operate. And I think tarot, any experience I've had with it is super eye-opening in that way.
Absolutely.
Mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah. So the whole thing is that I'm not supposed to know your shit, but when I use these cards, I know things about you that maybe only you have thought about or that you haven't said out loud, or you've only said to, a select few people. All I'm doing when I use these, this is just a tool, so it's just cards that have a, a little image on them that I kind of tell a story about what's going on. All I'm doing is I'm giving you affirmation, perspective, just a place to kind of jump from. I'm not telling anybody's future. I'm not saying, I'm validating you. I'm talking about things. And how do I do that? I do it intuitively. So I pick up on all the cues that you're giving me, the energy that you're giving me, what you've, because I'm the kind of reader where I want to give you my cards to shuffle. So it's your energy on my tool. That sounds weird, but it's what it is.
Giggity.
Right. It's, you're dressed appropriately for that. But, that being said, it's supposed to give you some affirmation, some clarity, perspective. It's not supposed to change your life in a way that you wouldn't already look at it to change it.
Yeah.
And I think that just to kind of, touch on that spiritual factor, especially when you're going through something like a recovery, which is a lifelong battle, pretty much, or it's definitely something that you work on. You need some clarity at any given moment where you might have used something to self-medicate yourself, whereas something like this just keeps you on the right track. Yep. All right, cool. I got to work on that. Yep. That explains it. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm going into this direction now. Like, that's all it's supposed to be. So actually, I get a lot of people from all different kinds of walks of life that have been through all different experiences that utilize this service just for a little touch base, a little back to goo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Get
that's
out
what
of our
it's for.
own way,
Yes.
in a way, it's,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think all the pollution from the world, too, is tough in a sense when you're going through life. And you find, like we were talking about different parts of your life earlier where you change as a person energetically, so on and so forth. But, you find a direction at some part of your life, and then you find some clarity in your life. And then all this pollution, this outside pollution, materialistic pollution, negative energy pollution, whatever it is, and it's harder to get back to that
knowing, if you will.
Well, that clarity.
Yeah, that home base.
That sense of peace almost.
Yeah. It's really funny. I've been saying a lot lately in some of my readings that, you're just touching goo. And if you've played hide and seek, like we're from New England, we're from Rhode Island, and that's what we'd say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you're just touching a home base. You're just getting back to ground zero. You're just getting, your both feet on the ground, and that's what it's for.
Sure.
So I have clients that see me as often as, once every month, just for that little bit of affirmation in their own lives, or that little bit of, I just need somebody to tell me everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that even though it's not going to be okay all the time, like we know that,
sure,
but not to look at that and just look at that as like, oh shit, that's what it's going to be. It's cool. We all have trauma. We all carry a lot of baggage, but we don't need to be reminded of that in every situation. So I don't like to talk about that. Hey, we've all got stuff, but where do we go forward from here?
Sure.
That's where I offer that as clarity.
Yeah. So as far as the being a professional tarot card reader, how much did you have to transform your self-confidence in that art to become comfortable in being able to let other people's trust be involved in what you're doing?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And I want to say that it has a lot to do with ego, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm a flawed human being. We all are in certain ways, right? So the fact that I don't take the energy of the people I'm reading for to heart is part of that. And then it just builds up that confidence. So, there's always a test, right? And we always have that ability to trust ourselves. That intuition, that ego, all of that goes hand in hand. It's how you divide it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So like how I would read somebody is my experience helps me tell a story. Like, I can say, okay, well, this card reminds me of this situation within my life. Pulling it up for either one of you or another person, like it reminds me. And so I will tell that story of like, hey, this reminds me of a time that I was really not in a great place. To me, that reflects to you, are you really not in a great place right now? And so 9 times out of 10, I'm on the mark.
Yeah.
And then there's the other times that I'm not. And it's because of if it's just not a great day, if the energy's not right, it's the person I'm reading for.
Sure.
And sometimes we just need to start over and figure it out. Or sometimes it's like, we're not jiving. It's absolutely fine. But for me to get to that point, it's more of a, I leave myself at the door as much as I possibly can, because it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Has everything to do with helping who's ever in front of me. And that takes a lot.
Sure.
You know, people who go into this and they look at the direct meaning of the card and say, okay, well, this is what this means, so that has to happen. No, life isn't that cut and dry.
Sure.
Of course.
You can't just discern the black and the white and be like, okay, it's this or it's not. Absolutely not. You have to look at your own life experiences and say, all right, well, I was like this at that moment, that this reminds me of that. So I have to look at that and say, for whoever's sitting in front of me, hey, is this what's going on right now? Did you suffer some loss? Did you lose a job? You know what I mean? Like, it's just looking at your own life and being like, I'm a dumb human and I'm just going to pour into what I recognize this to be to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go to a therapist or you talk to anybody, they help you come to that level as well. And it's almost like a commiseration, right? Like, you're like, my life is this and this is happening and I can't figure this out. And how does my mind work like this? And they're like, no, you're cool. Don't worry about it. Like, talk it out, figure it out.
Yeah.
Here's a better tool. Did you think about it this way? Did you do it that way? So they're removing themselves. Well, a good therapist will remove themselves from that.
Oh, yeah.
But they're just saying, like, no, you're not a bad person. Like, this is how we get forward. That's what I do without the certificate, so it's way above my pay grade, and I would never say that I was a therapist.
Sure.
But it's absolutely giving somebody clarity, which is cathartic in what that it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know?
I find when I have had experience myself with tarot reading, it's super important for me to leave my ego at the door as well, and to leave myself, because a lot of times that whatever you receive, like, I want to kind of immediately, whatever I'm going through, like, I want to relate it to what I want to relate it to. And a lot of times it's a little bit more of allowing that, like, not problem solving, but, like, you know, almost figuring out, like, oh, okay, you know, I want to, like, say that this is directly related to this situation because maybe that's what's prevalent in my mind, or, but sometimes there's a deeper.
Right. So you're trusting your own intuition when you go in. It's almost like you're, you know, and that's the best way to be, of course, but you have to go in with an open mind and have no expectation. You know, what sets, and I want to say that it's a natural progression of how I've gotten here. What sets what I do now apart from what I did in the beginning is that the people that I'm dealing with, my clientele, are looking for bigger answers in certain ways, as opposed to just the quintessential, which is not, I'm not saying it's not valid, or I'm not, you know, discrediting it, but, like, why doesn't he love me? Or when am I going to have a baby? Or, like, I get it, and those are very important, but they're not transformative for you. You have to fill yourself back up before any of those bigger ticket items are going to come into your life. So I can tell you that, you know, I've had clients from the past say, well, you told me I wasn't going to have a baby, or you told me that he wasn't going to love me. It's because the timing wasn't right. You have to trust yourself. So you have to trust that intuition. You have to remain open-minded. Because if you go in with an expectation of what you want, you're absolutely not going to fucking get it.
So is life, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not a movie. You're not going to get what you're looking for unless you do the work for yourself.
Yeah.
So, and that's a hard lesson, but I feel like, again, the clientele that I've been dealing with for the last, I want to say, about 6 years, has been people who are on that journey of, like, I got to do the work. Am I doing the work right? Am I doing it in the right place? Am I, you know, in the right street, let alone, you know, city? Am I there? Am I doing it? As opposed to, this is what I want. When am I going to get it?
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of those, and we were kind of talking about this earlier before we started recording, you know, a lot of those people who are instant gratification and need an answer right away, I will be like, I can't help you.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's not what this is for.
Yeah.
And I don't want to waste anybody's time, money, effort, energy into that. No. You know, if that's one of your many things you want to talk about, absolutely. But it can't be your be all end all.
Yeah.
Trust that it's going to give you exactly what you need.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, right before you said that, I was thinking in my head, like, so me and my sister, contractors, and so we work a lot with, you know, clients as far as either residential in their homes And sometimes we'll come across some clients who we wish we never got involved with, or before we even started, we're like, we're not taking this one because we know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
Sure.
I'm sitting here thinking, putting myself in your shoes, like, what was, I don't know if you want to speak on this, but what was the hardest client and why?
So there's a couple of factors that go into it. So
Yeah.
I do private events, private parties, and things like that. Any sort of substance is going to.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Sure.
it goes hand in hand. So that can be very difficult, especially if they're expecting a service from me. I just went to an individual gathering that, because I'm doing 20-minute readings, people are waiting and, they're indulging and doing different things.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I had 2 clients that I was like, I can't even read you because you're so. And it wasn't that they were knocked down. They were just, it's not. I don't do it when I read. I don't.
So interesting.
I don't do
That makes a
anything.
lot of
And
sense.
I drink like a liquid IV. Like, how
Sure.
boring. But, not shitting on anybody who thinks that would help them in some sort of way, because they're all different kinds of walks of life. And there's all different people.
Yeah.
But anybody who's under the influence past a certain point, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. But there have also been people that are very difficult to read because they expect, like what we were talking about earlier,
Right.
they expect a certain thing for me to say, and I'm not saying it. So it's almost like they're testing me. In a way, like, what color am I thinking of? I'm like, I really could give a total flying fuck what color you're thinking of, but it's blue. And, like, whatever. So, but there are people who they're not open-minded. And I'll be perfectly honest with these folks and be like, I'm not the reader for you.
Sure.
And it's not personal.
Yeah, right.
And that being said, if there's any other medium reader, any sort of light worker that refers me and I don't have a good connection with that client, I'm like, it's not personal. I'm, human, and so everybody's not going to clock in with
But
everybody.
how interesting, because you're still giving them exactly what they need.
Hey, I never thought of that. I never thought of that.
It's very interesting,
But, I mean, I will have
what do you
no
really need to
problem
look
being
at?
like, just like if that's what you guys do and you do contract work, I can't work with this energy.
Sure.
Like, I am just getting, it's just not going to work for me. And the way that I feel that, it feels like it's like I'm underwater trying to read for them. Like, it's I feel so weighted, so like I'm drowning, like I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So energetically, I feel the wave crash over me. And I'm like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And then I'm drained after they're gone.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that you would kind of experience in some aspects too, when you're with people's energy in their homes or whatever it is that you're doing. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
feel like you're being choked.
People can be a lot of work. For
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
And that's not personal.
No.
And I feel like that's another ego thing of, I can't work with you, so therefore they internalize it and say like, oh, it's a personal.
I think for us it's personal. Like,
Yeah.
Like you're just.
Yeah.
It's never going to work. Somebody else, like you said, somebody else is going to come along and take your money.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Like, we're just not going to spend our energy dealing
And
with
that's
you.
perfectly valid.
And then 20% of the work is doing the work, 80% is dealing with you.
Exactly.
And, it's like,
and that's super valid because we have to protect ourselves no matter what we do and no matter where we go.
Sure.
If you've been in a place and you're like, gosh, this doesn't feel right. Like, this store doesn't feel right. I don't feel good in here. You leave.
Yeah.
A restaurant, go in and you're like, I've been waiting for a really long time. Like, I don't like it. I'm going to go someplace. It's our choice. It's not personal. It doesn't mean you're not going to visit that restaurant again. If you have more time to spend or what have you, like, there's a difference there. So I feel like a lot of people kind of get a personal attack or they feel that way based on our choices, and it shouldn't be at all because that's ego.
Well, it's something to look at, and it's you're doing a disservice to force yourself through it, not only to yourself but to them.
Right.
And I think that, I mean, it took me years and years of doing just like anything anybody needed because I didn't want to make them feel bad.
Yep.
To learning boundaries and learning,
Oh, absolutely.
it helps everybody in the situation, whether we want to believe it or not.
I love that you said that earlier because I've never thought of it like that. Like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do and exactly what that other party is supposed to hear.
Yeah, they needed that more than the reading.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we're all kind of interacting and just going through life, just touching base on people all the time, even if we don't want to spend a lot of energy on them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Now, is there anything in particular before you go into a session that you do personally for yourself to get more, to get more ready for that session?
Yep. So, especially if I'm going to a place that I do not know, for my office, I will say that it's pretty cut and dry. As soon as I walk in the door, it's sort of like the light is on. So my team or the people that I work with on, my side of things, the energetic team that we all have, whether it's angels or, gods or goddesses or anything like that, or whatever faith you want, it's all right. None of it's wrong. Yeah. So I'm considered an eclectic witch. So yes, I do practice that, but meaning that I take all different pieces from all over the place. So I'm not going to discredit anybody who's still going to church. Like, I still go to church. It's part of my tradition as a human and as what I've learned. So like, I believe in all of it and none of it all at the same time. Nothing's wrong and everything's right. So when I go into my office, the light is on and they're like, oh, she's ready to receive the messages. She's ready to receive. Okay. So that's in my office. But if I'm going to a particular place, usually I use the drive. I'll listen to music. I won't listen to anything cuckoo bananas, but I will listen to like stuff I want to hear. Like it might be 90s rap one day. It might be on a Biggie kick. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm getting myself ready. Yeah. But there isn't a particular ritual except that I keep the conversation open with my higher powers. Ooh, this hat. Okay. With my higher powers, right? So, okay, I'm getting myself ready. Please let me know if there's anything I need to do as I'm listening to Ludacris or whatever, right? And so then some of the things start then. Some of the downloads start. And there's a lot of times that before I actually go to an event or if I go into my office and I see a new client, that their people are already talking to me. Yeah. Because I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? And then they'll be like, well, talk about the medicine cabinet, talk about the lasagna pan, talk about and it's always, I have a great relationship on the other side with grandmas and grandpas because I had such a great relationship with my own that I can speak on that level. And so grandmas will always try to feed me. And I'm like, I wish I could eat whatever cookie you're making, but I can't. They'll show me how to make it. They'll talk about what they use. Cool. And grandpas will try to tell me about football and baseball and all the things that they were into. And, funny. It's pretty cool. So I really have a connection with that. But, I pretty much just turn it on like a light bulb. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah. Other people do other things. They do actual rituals. Yeah. Which is cool too. But right now, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I actually love that you said, whatever it is to you, and it doesn't have to be a thing and it's not a ritual because any experience I've had with different modalities of healing and energy work, it's like, it's so refreshing that you're still yourself and doing the work because I feel like there's times where I've gone and be like, oh, I need to prepare myself. It's that pressure. It's that I need to put myself in this space. And I resonate with the fact of this, whoever I am one day and this eclecticness, it's okay to not be the one thing. Yeah. It's like we get so driven into you're this or you're that. It's black or it's white. If I'm going to do a spiritual thing, I need to be listening to hymns. I need to be, and it's it's refreshing because I have worked with people who you can see that it's all or nothing, you know what I mean? And it's nice to see that you touch back down to reality or don't resist one or the other because we're here, right? We're here in this world and that's the music we like and we do. Right. Yeah, it's just refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever you believe in is absolutely fine. In our books, there's no textbooks that say you can do whatever is or that you have to do what this is. Yeah. There's so many books you can read and there's so many different places that you can gain your own research, but really it comes from you because you're going to be doing it every day. Yeah. So if you don't have, excuse my French, but I don't have fucking time to do all the ritual stuff to get me prepared for certain things. I have a family. I'm here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. So for me, it's what makes sense to me so that I can make it authentic, right? Authentic. And that's what I'm going to listen to. Who the heck knows? What was I listening to on the way here? Led Zeppelin. You kind of piqued some interest with the 70s vibe. I was like, let me go back to some 70s rock. Yeah. But, it doesn't have to be hymns or it doesn't have to be any sort of meditation type of podcast or music or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just a good life reminder, Yeah. It's in this space, I don't have to be this or,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Plus,
we forget
I feel
that
I'm too all over the place. I'm like, if I was listening to something like a meditative, a mantra chant or something, I'd probably be like,
yeah.
So before you spoke about how pre-session you start hearing your higher powers. Mm-hmm. Now, higher powers, plural?
Yep, it can be. So, I want to, again, just kind of blanket statement. Like, we're not, whatever you believe in as the signs that you are getting, that's what I consider higher powers. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, like, if you think, like, okay, we're from Rhode Island, we look at license plates all the time. That's one of the things I will say because, if you look at a license plate or look at the clock and it's your birthday or your dad's birthday
Sure.
or your sister's birthday or something like that, it's supposed to resonate with you and stick with you so that you know that you're not alone. I consider that a sign from a higher power.
Okay.
So I won't particularly say, oh, that's from my grandmother or that one's from this person. Like you can just say, hey, I'm not alone. Whoever is sending that to me, thank you. I needed to see that little smile. I needed to feel that little, little warmth there. I needed to just realize that I'm not alone in this crazy place.
Sure.
So that's what I say from higher powers.
Okay. Cool.
So some people would say it's from God or whatever deities that you believe in.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's all or nothing. It can be whatever you want it to be.
So do you physically hear
Yes,
through this? Now,
physically here.
when did this start?
So I was about.
And were you freaked the fuck out?
Yes, I was. So one of my earliest memories of this crazy stuff was I was probably about 3, and I thought there were vampires in my room because they would stand in the corner of my room and look at me.
Okay.
And I would tell my mother, and she would, typical mom, like, oh, it's just your imagination.
Sure.
It's absolutely, just your mind playing tricks on you. It's the shadows in your room. And so she would say, just tell them that you don't want them there. Like you would for a typical kid. Like,
right.
There's no monsters under your bed. Like, just say, I'm not afraid of you, and I'll spray this magic stuff. And it's really just, like Glade. And you're just spraying it. Monster spray. Right? So my mom did that as, typical. And I would say, you're not here. And with that, I set an intention.
Okay.
I don't see you. And so they went away. So I was freaked out because I thought they were vampires because they were people who had passed.
Okay.
And and they knew that I could see them, but they didn't know how I could have a conversation or communicate with them. So it was sort of like they were checking me out going, oh, she can see us. All right, cool. Now how are we going to talk to her at 3 or at 4, which is most kids at this point would have an imaginary friend.
Yeah. Okay.
But because I said, nope, you don't exist, they were like, oh, she's not ready. And so life went on.
Yeah.
But I always had things that I could just know about people, and everybody just chalked it up to me being a Scorpio and being like, oh, she's just, nuts and all the things. But I just could read people's energy and still can, obviously, but very well.
Yeah.
So I always knew something was up with me, but I didn't realize it until my daughter was about 2, and she started to say things that I remember saying about people being in her room.
Okay.
And instead of taking the same page, like we're supposed to be better in some sort of, or change the cycle of our parents.
Understood.
And like, I'm not saying that my mom was wrong. It was what she knew.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. So I would say, so how does that make you feel? So are they scaring you? Are they? And she would tell me these stories about all the people in her room, including my grandfather who was watching over. Oh, he comes and sees you. And it was like, we're having conversations and they're right there. So I was like, there's something to this. And then that's when everything kind of exploded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just about that time. And so now she'll be 13 in 2 weeks. She doesn't want anything to do with this.
Okay.
And that's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
She shouldn't. She should worry about school and cheerleading and boys, I guess. And like all the things, whatever she wants. But it shouldn't be this. This is too much for a kid. Not to say that there aren't kids that do it.
Sure.
But it's a lot. It's weighted. It's heavy. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that you have to remove yourself from.
And also a lot of skepticism, I'm sure, pressure and stress from that. If I say something to somebody, they're going to think I'm fucking crazy.
Exactly. And then they'll commit me or I'll go away. So instead of talking about it and saying like you're valid in who that you are for saying these things and understanding it. But kids have pure energy. So babies and animals or children and animals have the purest energy. So have you guys heard the phrase like, don't trust somebody that a dog doesn't like?
Sure.
Like if a dog doesn't like you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that, because
Yeah.
that means that their energy is a little wonky. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay forever, but that just means there's something to it. And kids are the same way. So people who have empathic qualities will be very connected to animals, be very connected to kids
Yeah.
and babies. My mother and I used to joke when I was younger, we'd go out to restaurants or stores, and babies would always look at us, and kids would always be like just very comfortable with us.
Sure.
There's something to it. So that being said, I recognized in those moments of putting all of these dots together and being like, here's the string going across over here and here, is that, it's hereditary.
Yeah.
And it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
So whenever my daughter wants to do it, if she wants to, if she doesn't, that's fine too.
Sure.
I'll be here to help her or not, depending on whatever she wants.
Now, is this something that she can... Now, has she been consistently hearing or seeing things?
No, because what happens is that in that moment when she was little,
Yeah.
2 years old is when we first started talking about different things. She also used to tell me that there were angels on the sides of our cars.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, never recognized that, but it makes perfect sense that they're traveling with you wherever you go. So interesting, right? So she doesn't have the ability as much. It's almost like it's gone dormant.
Because of her own free will.
Exactly,
Okay.
because of her own life.
Understood.
She shouldn't worry about this stuff right now.
Sure.
She shouldn't be involved with it right now. That doesn't mean that it's not going to come and go.
Right.
It will, but she should be worried about passing a test,
Yeah.
not breaking her Chromebook. I don't know, like
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these things that are seen and heard, where do they come from? Or do you know?
I don't really know, because
Okay.
I would say that they come at all different places. How do I say this? That's a really great question. How would I formulate that? So some psychics and mediums and some people say, oh, it's like, I'm clairaudient or I'm clairvoyant. Or
Yes.
For me, it's all of it.
Okay.
I'm clairsentient. I feel it.
Okay.
So, it's not a nice compartmentalized little thing that I have. I don't have like a diagnosis that's like, this is what you have.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So sometimes I'll hear it. Sometimes I'll hear my name. Sometimes I'll hear my client's name. Sometimes I'll see it like a movie in my head. Sometimes I'll smell it. Sometimes I'll taste it. Sometimes they'll talk to me like we're sitting here having a conversation. So I can never judge or be privy to how that information is going to hit me when
Yeah.
it does. So it's all across the board,
Cool. Yeah, it's not someone showing up. Hi, I'm here. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had an energy try and like suck onto you?
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yes. So I also do investigations.
Yes.
And some of the other tools that I use, not in investigations, but I'm just saying, like, there's not only clientele or people coming to me for readings, it's a lot of other things that I'm involved in. So I see energy or entities on all different kind of spectrum, in the sense of if I'm actually doing an investigation or if I'm doing a table tipping, which is just another tool to connect with the other side. Sometimes these energies liken us to people that they knew, and so they will stick on us. And they
Okay.
will. I once did a table tipping session at a place. Actually, I used to work in Warwick, right up the street, the place that's no longer in existence. And this gentleman followed me home. He was not alive.
Table
Okay.
tipping.
Table tipping is a circular table, like a pedestal table, and you can use it to connect with. Maybe we should do that sometime on a podcast if you want.
yeah.
We could try it
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
and see what happens. All right, put that in
Game.
your back pocket.
Okay.
So it's just another tool.
Yeah.
It's almost like a spirit board or a Ouija board without the numbers and letters. So we actually use the table as an inanimate object to help tell a story about what's going on.
Oh.
So if the table wants to talk to you, the table will migrate. And I don't know if you've ever did this in growing up, but I know that females usually do. Stiff as a board,
Oh,
light as a
yeah,
feather,
all
stiff
of
as a
it.
board. It's the same energy where you're putting your fingertips on in an inanimate object like a table, and you're just using the force that you're told to use to push the table along.
Okay.
So you can get messages therefore with words, with, is it a B? They'll go, yes. Is it a C? No. That kind of a thing.
Okay.
So anyway, I was doing a table tipping session, and this gentleman was in the back seat of my car. And I said, buddy, I don't know what you want, but you can't come here.
Yeah.
Then next thing I know, I'm at the Islander having dinner with my friend, and he's standing behind me.
Okay.
And he's talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And he said, you look like my daughter. And I'm like, I don't know who your daughter is.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Then he followed me home, and I'm putting like my pajama bottoms on in my bedroom, and he's looking at me, and I go, I have kids here. You can't be here. So then I realized that my boundaries were not strong enough.
Okay.
So I put that, he wasn't trying to hurt me. He was attracted to me because I looked like somebody he knew.
Yeah.
And I did end up finding out who his daughter was and what was going on. So the message was delivered. And it wasn't an ominous one. It was just that he was thinking about her because she was going through a tough time.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think that she was seeing the signs that he was leaving for her. So, of course, energy is transformative. And he saw me and was like, you can talk to me. You can listen to me. You look like her. Help me. And so we did as best that we could. But, and it was not just me. It was, a conversation that led me to where this place was. So, again, trusting the universe that we're all supposed to be where we're supposed to be, right? So, anyway, that hasn't happened since. But I do have an attachment with a little boy. He follows me around a lot. And it's just because I have mother-like energy. Like I said, I have 2 kids of my own. So, he's been in my house. He's, he hasn't been in my car, but he hangs on to my leg a lot of times like a little boy would.
Wow.
But he does not mean any harm. He just feels connected and safe with me. So he can stay as long as he wants to, as far as I'm concerned. Because he's not hurting anybody. He's not freaking anybody out at my house, not even the dog. He's fine. And he's just attached to me. So I'm fine with that. But
Interesting.
so funny. So Danielle, right?
Yeah.
So she actually did my hair one time, and she's like, who's this little boy? And I was like,
wild.
I don't know. And she's like, he likes you because you're like a mommy to him. And I was like, okay, validating.
Wow.
Awesome. I knew it. It was just nice to hear it out of somebody else's
Yeah,
mouth.
of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he comes and goes,
Yeah.
but he doesn't freak anybody out.
Okay.
So
Now, do you think no other entities have come or followed you or tried to attach to you because you have put up better boundaries?
yes, I think it's always a work in progress. We always are a work in progress. Our energy is always changing, whether it's we're vibing high or we're kind of in the doldrums a little bit. So sometimes you just got to keep your momentum going when it comes to keeping your energy kind of protected. And we all get complacent in that, and we all get in a certain place where we don't feel as strong. And that's when somebody will recognize that with you and be like, hey, or you feel it and you're like, oh gosh, I should really put my guards up a little bit more. And whether that's an actual guard that you instill in yourself, or that's just, I have to do better at what I'm doing and who I'm choosing in my life right now, then that's perfectly valid too.
Sure.
Kind of similar to, navigating through life with people regardless.
Right.
Right? It's like
You kinda have to trust.
always assessing
Yeah.
and having to make those decisions. And sometimes, you just go along without really thinking about those things. And then, that awareness of like, what boundaries do I need to have? Oh, this is affecting me. Okay. Is this welcome
Exactly.
here or is this not welcome here? Yeah.
And it's how you feel too. So if you feel your energy is off and you feel that you're not going down the right
Sure.
the path that you need to, or you're not in the right direction, that's when you start to question what you're doing for yourself. And that's when, again, some of those boundaries, whether it be energetic or metaphysical or even just in your own life, that you say, okay, I need to do better for that. I need to be cognizant of what I'm doing and how I'm spreading my energy, and that's part of it too.
Now, do you, so a common thing I've heard, entities or ghosts or are people stuck in this kind of middle land, almost purgatory land that haven't moved on. This is a theory that I've heard over and over again. What is your theory on that?
So energy is always moving. We are made up of energy,
Sure.
right? So we are on a rock floating in space. We're a speck of a speck of a speck of a speck, right? So we're always made up of energy. This is just our physical form
Sure.
of this energy.
Absolutely.
So what happens to you after this physical form is worn out and we have to, go someplace else, energy is always there. So to be stuck or to actually choose what you want to stay in, because entities, ghosts, all of that, there's that's a broader subject in the sense of like there are ghosts, yes, there are entities that stay in a particular location based on the residual energy that's there. Like if there's a tragedy, some of that imprint or imprinted energy that stays there, that residual, will keep perpetuating the same thing. Where I have a friend who does this too, and she moved to Coventry, Rhode Island, where the station fire was close to.
Oh, yeah.
And so she could smell burning, she could, hear the screams and things of that nature. And she didn't know about the tragedy that had happened, yet the energy was still very pertinent in that area.
Yeah.
So there's that, which is something. But for our loved ones and the people that pass away and no longer have this physical shell of, I call it a meat suit. They don't have their meat suit on anymore. They're going to come and go as they please. They're going to check in on you guys. They're going to check in on me. They're going to send all the signs and all the affirmation and all the love that they possibly can from wherever they are. The only thing that's different, because their energy has moved in a certain destination of whatever that looks like, and I don't know because I haven't been there. I only know what they tell me. But there's no sickness, there's no sorrow, there's no remorse, there's personality. So if Grandpa was a smoker, he's smoking over there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If Grandma liked, to knit, or if Grandma liked to bake pies, she's baking them over there. If she was fresh and had a sharp tongue, that's coming through.
Yeah. Almost like the residual imprint of energy left.
Right. But they hang out wherever we are. So they still protect us, look over at us, and, they're always looking out for us. They're always guiding us in some way. So that's the energy that I would say isn't the residual in that of a tragedy. It's more of, it's an imprint of love and caring that they have for you. And people will ask me, they'll say, well, I never met that grandparent, or I didn't know that person. That doesn't matter. Where they are still looking out for everybody that's been loved by their people. We are people who love our people usually. So especially where we are located in an older part of the country.
Sure.
So we're used to that. We're used to having generations upon generations of people. And again, it's really funny because of location. Being Rhode Islanders, we stay put. So, just because you didn't know the neighbor who lives 2 streets over and passed away doesn't mean that they're not going to be looking out for you, because we're all kind of ingrained as family. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting how that happens, because some clients will be like, well, I never knew that person. That's really funny. Yeah, but did your mother have the tree that this neighbor, then they're recognizing that, like it's kind of weird, but definitely connected. I like it,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I was actually watching Casper last night or yesterday with my daughter.
As you do.
Solid movie.
As you do.
Love that movie.
I haven't watched it in so long.
I had such a crush on that girl.
Oh,
the actress.
Christina
my God.
Ricci?
No, Christina Ricci. Was that she in the first one with the black hair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
She was Wednesday in Adams. In the Addams
she was?
Family.
She
was.
Okay.
She's a spooky girl. I like her.
Yeah. She, so anyways, her father was coming over to the mansion to pass on these ghosts to work on their problems while they're still stuck in, like, our world or stuck in that mansion. And so that kind of got me to thinking once again about the theory of, sometimes they're stuck in this place. Why do they have to be stuck there? And, and can they move on from that place?
And that is something that a lot of people will look at and kind of evaluate, because, again, it's easy to compartmentalize that. Energy is always flowing, and sometimes we don't have an answer for certain things. So the souls, that are stuck here or in the purgatory kind of situation, it's not that they don't exist, they do, but sometimes it's a fraction of who they are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily like, I'm stuck here, I can't get out. It's more of, there's just one small...
The energy is still there. Yeah.
Right, and if people need to be crossed over. You know, that's something that I know does happen. It's not something that I would commit to sometimes, only because that's not my choice. Because I'm not going to tell you that you need to go anywhere. You've been here longer than me. Why am I going to tell you to go? I'm going to hold space for you and say it's okay to stay if that's what you want to do. Or if you're not comfortable, you can go. But I'm never going to say that person has to leave here. How is that going to work?
Yeah.
You can't do that. One of the jobs that I have had in this profession is that I was a tour guide and one of the investigators at the Conjuring House.
Okay.
And in our protocol and all of the paperwork that we have everybody sign, like all the disclaimer, was that you can't cross anybody over. They've been here longer than you.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. You do not. So therefore, don't cross them over, or don't think you're gonna, because you're gonna open up a can of worms that you don't know how to shut. And I'm not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
If they ask me to, I surely will, but I'm not going to do it if that's not everything has to leave and vacate. We live on sacred land. We live in New England, which is sacreder than most, if that's even a word, sacreder. But so who am I to, some white lady telling somebody they need to cross over? Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm here to tell your story. I'm not here to tell you to go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah, as ethical standards, like, that makes a lot of sense,
Right.
But I'm sure you have those people who, their ego steps in and, like,
That's
I
exactly
need
correct.
to do this, yeah.
Yep. I need to save them.
I need to be that person.
How?
Yeah.
How?
Sure.
How are we going to do that? We're not going to save anybody by making anybody do anything. If they ask you to, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But we're not going to make anybody do anything that they don't want to do.
Yeah,
We've been doing it for too long, so let's stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I totally get that, because, like, somebody that's struggling with addiction, they're not going to be looking for a way out by being pressured.
Yeah.
Or being forced.
Of course.
It doesn't work that way. It never has. Not until they are ready.
Yep.
Do they pass on
Right.
to it, so to speak.
I guess you could totally correlate the two, because
Yeah.
that makes sense, right? If we think about energy being transcendent and doing certain things at certain moments,
Yeah.
you can't tell my energy to do whatever. You can ask.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay if you ask and I accept it. But it's my own personal belief or my own personal stance of how I feel that my life should be.
Sure.
Even if you are in a situation where you are doing, any sort of self-medicating in that way, because I feel like that's a lot of that. That's not somebody's determination. Yes, there's rock bottoms, and sometimes you have to hit your own rock bottom to realize what you've lost to rebuild.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean you can't rebuild.
Right.
There's no absolute. So again, it's always moving, it's always working, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And for that, we try to learn the lesson there.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have, lost children or lost family members to an accidental overdose will start foundations because that energy is still moving, right?
Yeah.
Or a lot of people who are actively in recovery and it's working for them become sponsors, or they do certain things to
Sure.
help the community.
Absolutely.
And that energy is then moving again.
Yeah.
Right? So think
Absolutely.
about it like that. Like, you're giving somebody a space to say, it's okay to think how you think, we get it, but there's more if you want.
Yeah, and we have a saying in recovery, you can't keep what you have without giving it away. In that cycle of the energy moving, I can't stay sober on yesterday's sobriety. I need to go out. I need to help another sick and suffering person. I need to pass along that education onto them, and hopefully some wisdom will point them in the right direction.
Right. And it works.
Yeah, of course.
It works. The other thing that I recognize about recovery, just by my own research of what that it is that there's always a higher power that's involved
100%.
to give you a perspective of that we're flawed, and it's okay to have flaws, and it's okay to forgive,
Right.
and it's okay to stand forward and say, I was a shitty person for a while. I don't want to be a shitty person anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm looking towards the future and having some sort of faith that I will be a better person, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and I think the higher power stance it's so that way you don't think you're the higher power.
Exactly.
You know, because a lot of the time addicts come in with this gigantic ego, and like what I think the ego is the disease. That's the real problem there. You know, it's not the drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol ruin your life.
Of course.
But you're still dealt with this person inside
Yep.
who uses that medicine, you know, and, you know, people that don't have a higher power generally don't stay sober for a very long time. I've tried many different ways, you know. I call my higher power God,
Yep.
and I believe in him, and I believe that he's got my back, and as long as I'm doing the fucking work, though, you know.
Yeah.
And...
Yep.
yeah, so the higher power, you know, tells me my ego needs to shut up.
Right.
You know?
And I think now you may recognize a lot of the younger folks are kind of going, and I say this like I'm so old, like younger folks.
Yeah.
But like, you know, a lot of people that are younger, you know, early 20s and early 30s, like in that age group, you find that a lot of these folks are really looking towards Christianity for some answers.
Yeah.
And we go through cycles in history as well.
Sure.
So what I do, I will always do what I do. You
Yeah.
know, there'll always be a business or a market for me. And I'm only one human that does what I do. So if other readers and other people come into the scene, absolutely, I'm like, go to whoever you want. You have free will, you can do whatever you want, and I'm not angry about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people now you see are looking towards a higher power, but you're going to find, and here's a prediction, right, is that you're going to find that in 2 to 3, 4 years, it's not going to be as heavily saturated with that energy anymore, only because people realize that they're looking to something that's supposed to be your be-all, end-all, and it can't be. You are. They're supposed to help you, but not do it all.
So let me get this correct, what you're saying.
Yep.
You say the movement of these younger generations being drawn to Christianity in a couple of years won't be as prevalent?
Right. It doesn't mean that they're not going to believe in it. It just means that what will happen is that they'll realize that I put all of my faith in a higher power to do things for me, and none of it's done because I have to do it.
Well, then because they're looking at it wrong. Then.
Exactly.
Not because they're looking in the wrong direction, but they may have
Yes.
the pretense wrong.
Exactly.
You know?
And none of it's wrong now, and none of it's going to be wrong later, but I just find it interesting that there is a movement now that you see. It's really funny. You might think I'm bonkers, but here we are sitting in costumes. You know, like,
okay.
I mean, whatever. But like going into a mainstream marketplace like a Five Below. I love a Five Below. I love a tchotchke, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
But going into a Five Below, you see a lot of, a lot of like the witchcrafty stuff is now not there anymore.
Yeah.
I used to get the best shit there
Yeah.
for my own personal uses, right? And now you see that it's more like there's more of a Christianity basis. There's more, and unfortunately to say, it's kind of a trend. So
Well, it's only a trend if it knocks down again, you know?
Well, what
I
I'm
mean,
going to say is that it's a trend to believe in something like this without you doing the work.
Sure.
I agree. I have some input. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like it's the whole this generation, right? Like we know the past few generations and how closed off they were on a lot of, maybe more solid in our rules and regulations, following the laws of God and the church, and keeping the picture in the front. Okay, now we're moving into like this health and wellness, where we're a lot more woke and
Absolutely.
enlightened, or so we think. There's a lot more attainable research and knowledge into realms that we haven't seen in the past few generations. And I think it's like, you see this kind of like witchy stuff, and then you kind of see this more Christianity, and it's like this, it's the live, laugh, love. It's the trust the universe. So when you're talking about the trust the universe, I get it, because I'm like, trust the universe. I mean, I can probably span that in 5 years of my life. And I remember being like, I don't know what trust the universe. Yeah,
Right.
fucking right. Okay. And then
I'm on it.
understanding, I get it. Trust the universe. I get it fully and completely, right? But I went through stages of getting that, and trust the universe, like, okay, it's whatever's supposed to be, it's gonna be, no matter what. There's like understanding of to trust the higher power, because no matter what, it's got my back. no matter what I'm taken care of, no matter what the story's written, right? But people, it's very complex and convoluted, like of your role in it. Like you said, you can give it up to the higher power, right? But if you're saying, God, you got my back, but I'm going to have a drink too. You got my back, right? Like that doesn't work. So you have to do the work. You have to be
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, of course you have to do the work. But I think we've been a civilization that has been so convoluted with the pollution of the world, with materialistic stuff, with the internet, with whatever you may call it, likes on fucking Facebook, that people now are hungry for some sort of faith and connection.
I agree.
In this civilization.
I agree.
You know, it's some sort of camaraderie. And that's why I think AA works so well, because it's a camaraderie of people looking for one thing, and that's to just progress their lives in a positive direction.
Of course.
You know, and I think that's the same thing with Christianity.
But it takes that surrender, right? It takes that surrender to be authentic in it.
Well, you have to get your ego out of the fucking way.
Exactly. So the ego is the store. The ego is the Instagram, all the stuff.
Yes.
To trust the universe and all right, I'm here. But the real understanding is different.
Right. So exactly. So I think that what I'm saying by this is that, you know, it correlates to what I do only because there are people who are going to actively seek me out. I'll give you an example, a real life example. So I get asked to do certain fairs and stuff and things of that nature that I'm just talking to people.
Yeah.
So I do a wellness fair for the employees of South Kingston. Weird, I absolutely know. I take every opportunity that I can to talk about this because it's cool, you know, and I like my job.
That's
so
great.
what I was doing is I was just holding cards out for people to take, and the 4 years that I've done it, the first 2 years, people were like, absolutely. Now I've got police officers and service people, and, you know, like members of the community in the sense of like the service-based industry. So like firefighters and you know, people who work for the town. And I've got them taking cards and like I'm just reading what the card is. I'm not even really tapping into their energy. Just not trying to blow their mind. I'm just trying to give them a little perspective, and that's it. So the first 2 years that I did it, fantastic. The second 2 years, people were looking at me like I had 8 heads. And it's because of this, you can do everything you want. You can do the Christianity thing. You can do this. You can do that. You have it's not black and white. You are the one. You're the factor in here. You're the common denominator. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But what will happen, because we've been through COVID and everything else that has really shaken things up, we need something to hold on to. So that is what's popular right now. Doesn't mean that it's not for everlasting. It is. But it's popular right now because everybody's looking for something to hold on to. Sure. My fear in all of this is that when people don't get what they want from a higher power, that their relationship with that higher power will be very fickle and they're not going to want it anymore. And that's what I'm saying is like, that's not what this is for. Yeah. None of it. It's to help you figure this crazy life out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, how we even got there, I can't remember.
But I get that.
That's
I remember,
what a podcast is.
I had God when I was younger and was very, you know, it wasn't my choice, but I went through my journey of life and religion and understanding, whatever. And I remember like my betrayal to my higher power. I was like, F you, F this, obviously not real. I've been praying.
Yeah.
You know, and that then had that like ultimate teenage resentment, and I was like, I believe in nothing because how could that happen? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like such a selfish, angry teenage perspective.
Remember
but
what we talked about?
People are very
cycle of life. Before we were recording. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's common.
Yeah.
That's very common.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying, because a lot of people in their grown adult years are still stuck in that teenage resentment.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lesson to be learned in that also, you know? And I think when the people are turned away from their higher power because they're not getting what they want and what they're asking for, they're getting thrown back out there to learn a lesson again.
You got it.
Hopefully they come back to some sort of faith-based, you know, thinking that they can't just...
Yeah, period.
Well, they can't just use it as a security blanket.
Yes, I agree.
Oh,
of
something's
course.
coming. I can see it. Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Hold that thought. Right. You're
No,
like.
I just think we're by design. We're by mainstream media. You know, a lot of the time we're supposed to be told that, you know, we can fix everything by ourselves. You don't need anything. You just need you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
You know,
you need something else.
Some sort of faith in something, and it doesn't have to be religion, because I don't believe in religion.
Mm-hmm.
Religion.
Yep.
I believe in people coming together and with the same ideologies and strength in numbers and faith in that. But you know, a lot of people that just walk around blindly trying to fix them with them is very hard. There are these outliers that can fix themselves with themselves, you know,
but they're hermits.
Yeah. They're doing,
right. I mean, there's a lot of fucking angry.
There's a lot of angry people
out there in the world,
and
know?
You need, so I guess what the lesson or what we're kind of talking about, just to kind of get it out on the table, is that you can't do everything on your own, but you can pick and choose how you go through life.
Sure.
Whether if that's that, you know, you use a metaphysical practice to help you, whether it is that you connect on a mediumship side, whether it is that you're in the camaraderie and the community based of a recovery program like AA or NA, or even therapy and clinical kind of settings. We can't do this shit if we don't have help.
Yeah.
Right.
I get 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess what I'm getting at too is you have to have faith in something.
Yeah, you do.
Whatever the fuck it is, have it in that.
Listen.
That it's going to work for you, that you can grow in that setting.
Yeah.
You know, I don't be a Muslim, be Islam, whatever. Like, have faith in that.
Right.
You know, I mean, you had to have some sort of serious faith in what you're doing to be productive and to be as a level that you are in. You know,
That's correct.
And the same thing with the job. Like, I have to have faith that I'm a damn good at what I do to produce what I do.
Right.
And,
Same. And that's another thing. The factor is that we're doing it though. So do you know what I mean? It's all encompassing. It's like we wear clothes because not only do they make us look good, and not only are they adornment of some kind that we are showing a personality with what we're wearing, but they also cover us and take care of us and shelter us
and
protect us. So you have to be able to look at all of that and say, everything that I do is for that reason of I'm trying to find something about myself that I have something to hold on to. You know, and that's why I'm saying what you see now is that a lot of people are looking for that, but they're looking, I'm not saying in the wrong place, that's not the right way to say it, because they have to figure it out, but you find that something like this is not going to be as mainstream. I don't worry about the longevity of my career. I don't, because I will be busy no matter what. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm saying that because people are going to need what I do, you know, forever. Whether it's in the mainstream or not. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to jeopardize who I am as a person to help somebody else, because I have a higher power that's telling me, or that, you know, giving me the signs that I should not. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, just to get off the soapbox a little bit. It is interesting. It is interesting. And I feel like, you know, a lot of what we do, especially coming out of mental health, capacity, and that's, you know, the basis of what this is about, especially this conversation, is that we're only as good as what we have going on, right? We can't pour from an empty cup. We can't help anybody else unless we're helping ourselves. We can't, you know, do anything unless we've already gotten the basis to do that. So what I utilize within my readings and my information lectures is my life basis. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else.
Sure.
I'm just interpreting that to help somebody else,
Using your tools.
which is what you do as well.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I resonate with that, you know,
fascinating.
because it's like, you know, in a not egotistical sense, we can do a lot with our past. And And it's so powerful what anybody has been through, because people have been through some crazy stuff.
Literally.
And even some great positive stuff. And all that culmination of knowledge, can help somebody fast track in like
fuel.
a certain way. And so I love the perspective of, taking your experience and leading other people on the right path, and I totally resonate with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm the be all end all either, because
course.
you know what? I'm just a dumbass human.
Sure.
So I'm only doing what I can out here.
Me in a meat suit.
Literally a meat suit. Hilarious, right?
Never gonna get that out of my
Made a
head.
meat dress. Yeah. So, and my hope is that the energy that we are producing right now, in the sense of for the betterment of the world, remains. So I'm saying we as a collective unit, doesn't matter what you believe in and who you are, because we've got some, you're right, just to kind of harken back to what you already said, we've got some angry ass people out there.
Yeah.
And so, we don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that for my kids. You have a child, you don't want that for your kids. So, we don't want that in this place anymore. And that's where I feel like having an open conversation like this is just helping us get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better for them if we do it and we keep talking about it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Love that.
Great.
Yep.
So did you bring your tarot cards with you?
I always
Tarot.
That's you can say whatever you want.
Tarot.
Did you bring your
Can we do one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can hit
Let's
that
do
if
it.
you want.
Oh, let's hit the video so we see what's going on here.
I always have cards with me.
Oh, what's your thing?
Who am I reading? You? Who am I reading? You tell me.
whoever.
You can choose.
That's a you thing.
No, dude, you can choose.
Your intuition.
I said if I was going to do a full reading, that one or the other, only for time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I can throw, so here's what I can do. I can throw a couple cards out and just interpret them for you and not do an actual reading for each of you.
Okay.
Do you want to do it that way?
So totally up to you, Steve.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Jumper.
That's a
I don't
jumper.
know. Let's
Got
just
it?
do a full reading of one of us.
All
Okay.
right.
And then we'll rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Well, rock, paper, that's the best way to do things, I find. I find it's the best way. I keep looking at your shoes because I'm like, I think I need those in my life.
What size are you? Because I'm trying to give them away.
Is that okay right there?
No, I will fall off my fucking
I know. They're
face
so-
with them.
Is that okay right there?
Yeah.
With the microphone?
I love this.
And the deal will be whoever doesn't will book a session.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that
I
sounds
don't give a
good.
shit about that. I was just saying.
Oh no, I want a session.
Oh, okay.
So if I don't get one
So
now.
why don't you do it?
Okay. No.
No. So you do it then. Yeah, she's doing it.
Okay. All right.
Hey.
Oh, we
on
can
the
rock,
spot.
paper, scissors.
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna have you move your drink over on the side there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Pull up the flame, Steve.
You don't light the microphone on fire. Okay. So what I'm gonna have you do, I'm gonna have you shuffle as best you can, because what you're doing is you're putting your energy on my cards. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Do you want me to put it on the floor? Yeah, there we go. How's that? You did a good job. All right. Feel good about it?
Can I ask you where you got those cards? Or are they given to you? Is that
No. So any of
is that a
this,
misconception?
yes.
Okay.
So any of the superstition, when it comes to like, you can, you have to be gifted a deck, or you have to be gifted a crystal.
Wrap it up.
or,
Keep it next to your bed.
Yeah, you have to sleep. You have to sleep under.
Yeah,
put it under
yeah.
your pillow. Like
Yeah.
Nobody can touch it ever.
You can do whatever the fuck you want. I once saw a meme that was like, how do I choose a tarot deck? Do I fart in a jar and throw it off into the fucking ocean? And when it comes
cool.
back to me, I'll get a deck. It's hilarious. But that is old wives' tale
Yeah,
situation, like salt over your shoulder. Is anything bad going to happen to you if you spill salt and then don't throw it over your shoulder? No.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a It's just an old wives' tale, bad superstition kind of
somewhere.
a situation. Because there are so many decks out there, and we resonate with so many different kind of parts of ourselves that, you might not like the traditional. I use a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is like the ones that everybody kind of has. Like, you can see like the magician, that. Only because it's chock full of information that I will be able to determine, what it is. And I'll explain it as we go as well so that you can kind of see. But anyway, some people are into very conceptual decks where it's not so clear cut and dry. And some people are into, more of an oracle, which is more of a broader scope. I don't discredit any of it. I just use the tried and true. Like, I'm going to drive a Toyota.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm not going to get a Tesla. I'm going to drive a Toyota that we've known works forever,
Sure.
and I can, ride into the ground. Okay. I liken decks to shoes. So interesting that, you just took your shoes off, right? But I liken decks to shoes. Every once in a while, you got to whip out the good pair and just, rock them. Obviously, you can choose many different pairs of shoes that you would like. Or you might want to wear your tried and true stinky ass flip flops and nobody cares. So it's totally up to you. It's whatever you're resonating with or whatever you're drawn to. I'm a big music person, so I do have a couple of music decks, but I don't use them.
Yeah.
Like the Emperor is... I can't remember if it was the Emperor is Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
The Magician is Prince.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those are cool. Those are
fun.
super cool,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think the High Priestess is Stevie Nicks. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Solid.
Solid. The Empress is Beyonce, like in her whole Madonna movement.
Yeah.
So, I like that, but I don't use it in my practice because it doesn't give me enough information that I want.
Okay.
So I use the tried and true. It was established or printed in 1909. It's not as gender fluid as we are now, so the energy that's there is very masculine versus feminine, which a lot of people don't like, but unfortunately, that's easier for people to categorize. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you learn a romance language, everything is either masculine or feminine. It's the same token, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing.
Sure.
I'm not saying that that's not progressive, it's just what I resonate with and I can kind of call to and see.
Very
That works for me.
Okay, great.
So this is the deck that I did bring. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith. They're plastic pieces. This is my on-the-go deck.
Yeah.
So if we're at a party or something's going on and somebody has water or whatever, I don't want to get it yucky. But I do let people touch my cards. I have no problem with that because in that touching of my cards, you're putting your energy on my deck, on my tool.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
But so that I can
Big.
accurately give you a reading. Do we have to do that? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that have been going on with you right now. When we talk about boundaries, it makes a lot of sense that we say this because it's sort of like you have a new set of boundaries within your life that you're really trying to work and manifest in a certain way. It's like not manifesting, I hope it happens. Like you're actually seeing the signs and actually seeing the little moments of this makes sense. I have to continue this, or I can drop that a little bit and I don't have to be as stringent with this particular thing. And you may feel that some of your life is kind of flip-flopped only because it's sort of like, you're that baby giraffe just standing up again, like trying to figure out where you are. Yeah. So it's very common, especially, in the fact that as women, we get to choose a lot and having that feminine energy. Like it's sort of like you're kind of stepping into this other version of yourself where those lines are not clearly drawn as they once were. So what's been happening is that you really are working more so on that spiritual sense of who that you are. You are in your own head, but you don't take it the same way that you once did. So I can see that, you're doing it for the right reasons that you're in your own head. It's sort of like you're doing the work on your own and including kind of making sure that those boundaries are nice and aligned in the ways that make sense every single day is completely different. So, again, a day-to-day kind of situation, and you're not giving yourself a whole lot of grief because it doesn't work the same way. Like, it's not cookie-cutter approach, A plus B equals C. It doesn't work for you right now. Every day is something different. It's like, okay, well, maybe I feel like that. Okay, well, maybe I'm going to call him or her or that. And, you're not kind of playing, the game with yourself of like, why did I do that? You're like, no, I did it for a reason. Like, I'm cool with it right now. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Of like, you're like,
Yeah.
I know I'm working at it, and that's what this looks like. It can be really rough and harsh, but I'm working at it, so that's what's important. And there wasn't one particular moment that was a catalyst. I feel like there was many different moments in the past, like I want to say about 3 months, especially, that really brought you to this level of yourself that you're like, you know, okay, holidays are coming, whatever, you know. Yeah. It's a Monday, whatever. It doesn't much matter, but it wasn't one particular thing that really like made everything click. Now it's sort of like things are clicking in the way that you can see them. Okay, does that kind of make sense to you? Okay,
it does.
Especially in the last 3 months, though, that you've recognized this. And the thing is that we just talked about earlier that we are working on better versions of ourselves so that we can help others, whatever that looks like. So for you, you're working on this because the ultimate goal is that you want to help other people. You want other people to see the good in what that you're doing within your life without you burning the candle at both ends and spending that energetic currency a little bit too much, because that has what was happening before. That has been your past. So you've been really like, now I'm very cognizant, I'm very intentioned in what that I'm doing and where that I am, and it's only for the reason of I'm trusting myself. It's you're working that muscle, it's getting better at trusting that intuition, so therefore that you'll be able to help people. So yes, you're filling up your cup so that you can kind of help people see where they need to be. So if it is that you're studying anything or kind of popping into a new modality where you're really kind of resonating with it and really being very stationary in that, and being like, ooh, I'm percolating and I like it, then this makes sense, because ultimately you're getting your bearings so that you can go ahead and move it forward a little bit differently. So ultimately, this is more based on family stuff. So if you are working at this only for the betterment of yourself in your own family, it's only going to help people. I'm not saying that you're going to be like talking to families, but you're talking to people about your experiences in your life, about being in a family, and your flaws and your strengths and your triumphs and all the things that you have, so that they can take it home with them and apply it to their families. It's more of a family orientated thing. I know it's a personal individual thing, but ultimately you want them to be able to spread that light, if you will, to other people within their world, especially doing better for themselves, so that, you know, it's sort of like a trickle-down effect. It's you're spreading the shine a little bit. However, there's always a but, and it's always a big one. It's not always it's not always a big but it's a big but. But what I can tell you is that because of this new way that you're kind of viewing yourself and you're going through your life right now, starting, obviously it's been really prevalent in the last 3 months. You lost some friendships, or you've lost some people within your world that cannot see what the true value of what you're doing. They don't have access to you as they once did. So what's happening for you is that you are really staying in the course. You're really situated in what that you're doing. You can kind of see that light at the end of the tunnel, which doesn't make you, again, accessible to others in the same way. So you may have some pushback. There may be some people who are not understanding what's happening with you, who are not on board with what's happening with you, and you have to kind of stay very, focused, laser sharp focused on what means something to you, because you're living a life for you. You're not living a life for other people. So if you're really working at who you are, where you come from, what your past was, how you can go forward and be a better, more well-rounded individual, other people are not going to understand that, because they can't get the same access to you that they once had. And so you may find that you are even organically keeping people kind of on the periph and not really having an interaction with certain folks, and not really kind of gravitating to the same folks that you once did. This is all part of the process. It's sort of like things are being weighed out, and there are some people that they have no skin in this game right now. So it's sort of like, I don't wish you well. I mean, I wish you well, but I really can't have you in my life because it's way too much for me at this moment in time. And they're not understanding that. So it's not relationship based as much as it is overall, that you're really taking stock of friendships and people who you spend a lot of time with and energy with, and you're like, yeah, that's not jiving with me so much anymore. Does that make sense as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Yep. Now you in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. This person will figure it out with you. It may be a slow-moving situation where, as you're growing, they're like, oh, I have to catch up. But the thing is that the ultimate place is that whoever this person is to you, They want to see better in you. They want to do better for you. And so you will find that things start to kind of change a little bit, only because it's sort of like you're not the catalyst, but you've paved the way. You're making it really easy to walk now. And that person wouldn't have seen that unless it was for your influence. So that will happen. I'm not going to say or speculate how that's going to end, because that's not for us to determine in this moment. But if it is that you're kind of lighting the candles so that people can see and you're illuminating, especially for your partner, that makes a lot of sense. The growth together is what's important, and I do see that for the two of you, where staying very plateau-like and stagnant in this relationship is not beneficial to either of you, but one's going to go before the other, in the sense of like one's going to try it before the other, and that's you right now. So you're choosing things better for your own perspective, and then that way the trickle-down effect when it comes to your partner is really going to be very prevalent as well here. So that's important. They may not understand anything you're doing, but they can see that you're happier, and they're like that. So that's what's going to happen. Yes, I love that for you too, partner. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that that is a bad thing. I think that sometimes one or the two in a relationship really need to fortify what's going on. And so that happens to be you in this instance, okay? I do want to talk about work just a little bit. You're changing that too. It's becoming a little bit too much for what that it is. And I feel like you feel there's definitely some things that you've improved on that you're not getting the reciprocation on the other end. So if it is the powers that be, if it is that you're not feeling it anymore in certain ways, then that is something that you're going to actively choose to do something different. I'm not saying you're going to reinvent the wheel and start a new career, but if it is that there are certain things that you're like, I really don't want to do that so much anymore. I know how it works. I know how to work it. I know how to operate, but that's not something that's part of my wheelhouse right now, so I'm not okay with that. It's sort of like, you know, you're really taking stock of how it is that you're making your money. How you have made your money has not been traditional by any stretch of the imagination, so it's going to continue to be. It's not like a 9 to 5. You're going to choose how it is that you're going to do things, and I think that right now, if it is that there are certain things that you're not doing that you like, you're going to say, like, I don't want to do that so much anymore, but I'll do this part, but I won't do that part. And if that's where you kind of come into that, and you have to pick up all the fallout from that, then, you know, or whatever it is, you know, like that's happening. But whatever it is that you're not particularly fond of within this, it is that, you know, that weight around your neck. So when you alleviate that and figure out where you can be in all of this, you're going to be successful once again in this, and you're going to feel open to what it is that you're doing. Because right now I feel like it's just going through the motions. You know, and that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. We get to that point in our lives too, that it's always peaks and valleys. So right now we're in a valley, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to peak at some time soon. It just means that it's not going to be like boom and it's there. This is more of, what am I working on? What am I trying to accomplish here? Where am I going with this? How do I get one foot in front of the other? That's what's happening, and then you're taking stock of it, which is important because it's part of your livelihood. So you don't want to hate what you do, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a kitty cat at home?
No.
Okay. Did you have a kitty cat at home?
Interesting. I mean, as a child, yes, we had one, and then we relocated, and she
Ran away?
went away and never came back. And then I had one probably just or a little over a year ago, but my work hours are so insane, and I would come home every day for like, I think it was 5-6 days, and she would be hiding, and I'd have to reacclimate and get her to eat. She would only eat if I was there, so I had to give her away to a better home.
Okay.
But I just went to the kitty yoga, and I've been talking about it for days. Like,
Okay.
I think maybe I'm getting a cat. Maybe I'm getting a cat. I don't know. Anyway.
So I see 2 coming. I'm not saying you have to get 2.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to. You can do whatever you want with this information. This is not. This is not. You know, set in stone. You have free will. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
But I see 2 coming your way, and I see that when you are not there, or there's something going on, that these 2 are going to entertain each other. I do feel like you will have a bonded pair. I also think that you will have brothers. I don't think that you'll have feminine kitties. So little kitty balls are going to be involved. But I think that you're going to have a bonded pair. And the reason why that is because I do feel that you're at the level now that you're ready for something else that's living in your home.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it feels good to come home to a particular individual, whether it's a furry or a human. It doesn't matter, right? But I do feel that there are two coming your way, and I feel like they will be a bonded pair. They are going to have very food-like names. Okay. So, you know, whether it's like peanut butter and jelly, or they're going to have like a bonded pair name. I don't think you're going to keep those names, but I think it's going to be cute nonetheless. Like macaroni and cheese, or, you know, like something like that.
Cool.
Like olive and loaf. I don't know. But like, you know, something like that where it's very bonded.
Like George and Nicholas or something.
Yeah. Are they food? Like Mac and Donald's.
No, it's her boyfriend and Nicholas is.
Boy he lives with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not those kitty
Yeah,
cats.
I know.
No.
You said two balls, you know, instead of
Kitty balls. I just laugh
balls.
because it doesn't matter. They
I
go
like it.
away when
I
they
like
get
it.
fixed anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
kitty balls are different than, you can't see anything on a girl kitty. It's
Yeah.
a boy
So
kitties.
funny.
Yep, but I think that you're going to be like, why would I not do it like this? You may fall in love with one of them, and the caveat is, you know, when you go to rescue, there's two of them. So put it in your back pocket. That's what I like to say, is that when you figure this out, you're going to be like, oh my God, how could I take one and not the other? Like, they love each other. And they'll keep each other company while I'm not there. So,
Cool.
But I think that you're going to change their names. Do you have a favorite TV show? Like, what is it that you watch?
Not much, but I've been watching Shameless a lot lately.
So I feel like it's going to be something that's going to correspond with, you like the name of one of the characters.
Lithuanian fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're going to like one of the names of the characters, and then therefore, you know, this once was a food name is now going to go to a human name, but it's not a human name that is very common.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, you're going to pick something that's totally different. Absolutely. And then one of them's going to be up your ass, and the other one is going to be a little standoffish, but that's okay. But I feel like there are two kitties coming your way.
Wow.
Not
Cool.
a doggy.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're opposed to that, but I just think that for what you do and where that you're going, there's kitty cat energy. Cats are what I would call their fuzzy pieces of black tourmaline. So this is, you know, black tourmaline, meaning that anything black is going to ground you. It's the absence of color, or it's all the colors put into one. So it's the absence of one particular thing. So you're going to have like a fuzzy crystal pretty much, like trying to help you with that energy that you have.
Cool.
So one of them is going to be very attached to you, probably be like on your face, and the other one's going to be at your feet. And I feel like that there's a reason for that. They're they're like little Reiki masters. They really are, because they help you move the energy.
Wow.
They help you move the energy. Dogs do the same,
cool.
but cats especially. I feel like that's kind of why they're prized for witches in general, and be like familiars, because they help move the energy a little bit. That's what's happening for you.
Cool.
I don't want to get too deep, because it is, you
Yeah.
know, we're being recorded, and I don't want to get too deep for you. But you definitely have people that stand on the other side for you.
Oh, let's get deep. Let's hear
You
it.
can.
I don't want to get too deep, because if it's going to be broadcast, I don't want everybody to know her business.
It's okay. You
See
can
me
say
after,
anything.
How about this?
I'll see
me
you after, though.
class. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see me after class, because there is a particular subject that I do want to talk about with
Okay.
you. That's not bad.
Cool.
It's just not for
Yeah.
the public consumption. It's
Absolutely.
just okay. So we have this person. This is a female person. She keeps giving me one rose to hand to you. One rose to hand to you. Did you lose a grandmother? Because like I said earlier, that grandma energy.
I did.
Is there a reason why she would be handing me a rose? It's a pink rose in particular. She keeps handing me this pink rose. Is that your favorite? Do you have any connection to this color?
I mean, flowers are just extremely prevalent, I think.
It's not a tea rose. It looks like it's bloomed. Like, you know how tea
Yeah.
roses are very compact and they're
Yeah.
cutesy little? No, this is like, it's bloomed. It's all kind of almost like a peony, but it's not. It's a rose. It's nice and big bloomed, and she's giving it to me to give to you. She's also giving me the sign of the cross to give to you, meaning that she's been praying for you as much as you've been praying to her. She's not mad about this. So sometimes personalities will come through and they won't want to talk to me, because they're like, you're a lovely girl, but I'm all set.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, I'm not asking them to, but she's saying, I don't care about this. I want to talk to you. I love you. Are you named after her?
No.
Are you thinking about sharing her name sometime?
Well, it's interesting because my mother is named after her.
Okay. Are you thinking about passing that name along or the initial or something of that nature?
I think that if I were to have a baby, I would definitely think about that for sure.
Because
But
she's saying that there's this connection to a name. And if it is that you also do not have this name, you didn't, I feel like it's not a bad thing that you don't have this name because she said that you were part of her anyway. It didn't matter if you were named after her. But she is pointing to this name because you have such a connection to her that you will continue that name going forward. What is her name so I can call her by name?
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie. Sometimes they give it to me and sometimes they don't. But I think that if it's first or middle is going to be, that's what you're going to continue with. And it will be named after this wonderful woman. She is wonderful. What a heart of gold. She's saying that. Now, are you guys from this area? Okay, because she's saying that there's a particular church nearby that she likes to hear the bells. So I don't know what church is near where she was, but she's like, I still hear the bells. I still hear the bells. It's like, typical 12 o'clock. We don't have a connotation to that as, it's the church. It's just beautiful music. She just likes this beautiful music. Do you have any, like, wind chimes or was there any sort of music box or anything like that was very like this that you know of?
I mean, outside of her window, Steve bought her a beautiful wind chime.
It's almost like it sounds like church bells in some sort of way, like the tinkling of a, she's saying like that's kind of what she likes that. She's drawn to that. So if it is that's, a representation of her, that's what she's trying to say. And she's lovely. She's absolutely lovely. She does want to talk a little bit about her end of days. She is talking about there was something going on with her belly or there was something going on with her stomach in general where she definitely wasn't herself because she felt yucky. She's saying like the top part of her was okay, but the bottom part was all not so great. So she is talking about that and saying like, when you feel gross and you feel nauseous and things like that, and that's what she's saying. She's like, you could see it on my face. But I tried. You couldn't see it anywhere up here. It was all here. It was just uncomfortable, is what she's saying.
Yeah,
she's pointing to that. Did you spend time with her? She is saying like she understands that because there was some time that she was either asleep or that she was not coherent.
Yeah,
and that you were right there. She's like, oh, I was right there with her. I was appreciative of her.
Yeah,
yeah. She's very.
Yeah, we were all very, very close. She died at home, and we were all sleeping right there. I slept with her, I think, the 2 nights before she passed.
She knew.
And then I went home that night.
Yep.
And so I wasn't there that morning.
Did you sing to her?
Yeah.
Because she's like, I got that.
We used to actually like just sing funny things in the house all the time. Just like whatever we were doing kind of thing.
Yeah, no. She's funny because she's like, she was singing and humming to me when I was asleep. And it was sort of like I could hear her. And, you were just doing the normal thing that you would, was part of your life with her. She's lovely. She's lovely. She gives me the number 8 to give to you. I don't know why. 8 is also the infinity symbol. So that energy is always moving. So if 8 is one of your numbers that you look at and you see all the time, she's recognizing that with you. Anybody's birthday in August?
August.
Because that's 8 too. I'm just asking.
Well, 8 is my number. My go-to number. It's funny. Last night we were doing a puzzle at my aunt's their house, and it was in little Advent boxes, and me and Erin kept doing it. So a small piece of the puzzle to put together, and we got to 7. I was like, I can't take the 7. I have to take the 8. Is that okay with you? Yeah. And so it was just funny because it was just last night we had a conversation about the 8.
Yep, she gives me the number 8. What's your life path number?
Ooh.
Do you know that? That's okay if you don't.
I don't.
I'm just
curious. What does that mean?
So your life path number, it is sort of just another kind of criteria that is that you're comprised of, right? So we can kind of go into that in another place, but like life path numbers, like people who are number 1s do this, number 2s do this, and we correspond it in tarot.
I don't remember.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. We correspond it in tarot as your birth card number. So ultimately, if you add the lowest or you add your birth date to get to the lowest digit, so for instance, I add my birth date together and I get to 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. And then, it corresponds with a particular tarot card.
Okay.
So I was just curious. I wasn't saying it came from her. I was just curious to see if it was 8.
Yeah, interesting.
If
I'll
that's
have
your
to look
number,
at it.
then that makes sense. I'm a 9, so I look at 9s as like the most. It's one of the prime numbers. It's one of the most balanced numbers because we got 3, 3, and 3. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. So anyway, we can talk about that after. But I just was curious to see if it was 8 because she keeps giving me that 8. Now, if that's correspondent to you and very, resonates with you in particular, she's thinking of you. But I would not be surprised if she comes forward in dreams for you. She has a particular smell. I don't know if it's like her perfume or what lotion she wore. It's not advantageous, or it's not like overpowering. It's more of that she has this very light and airy kind of smell. I don't know if it was the lotion that she used, because I feel like she didn't douse herself in perfume. Like it was just very, very soft, is what I want to say. So you're going to smell that. I feel like, do you have a favorite store? Did she go to a particular store all the time? Don't say Benny's, because that's my favorite store. R.I.P.
She loved just the thought of going to a store. I think, definitely.
Because you're going to be in a store. I feel like it will be like the most random store.
Hallmark. I mean, she used to love that.
It's gonna
Oxnard
be-
Pharmacy.
Right?
Job lot.
Job lot.
One of those.
It's going to be one of those randos that you can buy like everything, like a Benny's, or you can, it's something that she would have liked to go into and look at all the tchotchkes and all the little things, like a paper store or something like that.
Yeah.
And you are going to smell her perfume. She is shopping right there with you. She's she wants to be right there with you. And she's talking about many of you in your family. If there were many kids in your family and she had a lot of grandchildren, she each had something very special with each one of you. There, you had commonalities and you had very special things for each of you, as a group, but each one of you had something very special. So she's like trying to tell me that each one of you was thought of very like in a special place in her heart, as opposed to these are just my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Like you did something different, then you did something different, then you did something different. She's a lovely, lovely woman, and she's not going to let you guys go, is what she's saying. She would never leave you behind at all. But she's here and she's
awesome.
doing the things. Yep, for you. She's going to send you those numbers, especially 8. So I would say, because timing and energy is not absolute all the time, so sometimes you'll see a combination of such number.
Yeah.
So if it's a 1 and a 7, or if it's a 2 and a 6, and you add them together, that's your 8. Like it's not going to be, I wish it was a movie and we're like, oh, there's 8s all over. No, it's kind of like they can work with what they can work with. You know what I mean? So
Cool.
just know that those 8s are coming. Do you have any questions?
Oh, wow. I
I
don't.
know that's like scratch the surface, only because
Yes, of
hi
course.
viewers, we don't
No,
want to go
that's
too
great.
crazy. Yeah.
It all tracks, yeah.
Yeah, yep, exactly. No questions or no particular topic that you want to talk about?
No?
Okay, cool. I'm good with that as long
Yeah.
as you're good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll see you after class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, how long are your sessions usually?
So I talk too much. So I usually do a 45-minute session as opposed to a half an hour session.
Okay.
And then I go a little bit longer in approach where it's an hour and 15 minutes.
Cool.
Dependent on what you need for time. You get the same information, but sometimes
Yeah.
people just want more time.
For sure.
And more time to chat, more time to ask questions, and more time to go over particular things that are happening in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I offer those 2 types of sessions in my practice.
Cool.
I do events, I do lectures, I teach class. I do various other things in the modality of tarot, but I do other things as well.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I like the dirt, so I like tarot because
Yeah.
it gives me so much. Oh, we were talking about going over and talking about different cards. So this is the card I pulled for your partner earlier, and this is one of the cards that I pulled for you. So we'll just kind of go into that.
Okay.
So, and just to give, I'm just showing you this like this. There's so many different images and so much ideology in these cards that
Yeah.
that's how I tell my story, right? We see the 2 black and white sphinxes here. So, and then we see this guy is supposed to be Mercury or Hermes,
Okay.
right? And he's the messenger god, right? He was the one who delivers things. So if it's the chariot, it's nice and connected, right? I have to have two wheels on some sort of open road or some sort of paved or what have you, so that I can go forward, right? It's left and right. It's good and bad. It's yes and no,
Yeah.
right? And so sometimes when we look at that, that also relies to our communication. We have to be always, in the space of I'm testing the boundaries. Is this good or is it not good? Is this happy or is this sad? Is this dark or is this light? Like there's always, I feel like I'm an eye doctor. Is it one or two? One or two, right?
Yeah.
And I always go, can you do that again? Because you didn't do that. But I feel like, there's always a way of talking it out and figuring it out with yourself, especially. So this is about communication. It's also a number 7, if you see up here. 7s are usually a lucky number. And how do we get luck? We figure it out. We talk it out. It's not just falls into your lap. You actually make a movement to get that luck.
Okay.
Right? You open the fortune cookie. You know what I mean? Like you put your money on black on a roulette table or whatever. You're doing something to obtain that luck. It just doesn't happen. Like there's some forces that kind of start that process, right? So then here we have all stars, meaning that just because we have this communication with ourselves doesn't mean that we're also not communicating to our higher power and to a celestial being, if that's what you want to say, or to a god, or to an omnipresent, energy, whatever it is that you're looking at. It's not just you making these, it's all of the things that are happening. There's other things that we can kind of pull out too. We have that cross in that, the wings here, meaning that there's a lot of that communication that you're putting out into the universe. Speak it and it's well known. Speak it and it happens. It's like The Secret when you were making, everybody was putting all these Post-it notes all over the place of, mantras and affirmations and things of that nature. So it goes hand in hand with everything, right? So this is a 7. And if you look at this, he's a 1, right? So 7 plus 1 is 8. Another 8, right? But anyway, he doesn't have a number per se, but he has 1 staff, so I'm going to count it. And he's only 1 person here, so that makes sense to me. But the king is a masculine energy, right? And he's got a crown, and they have fire. If you can see kind of their licks of flames, right?
Okay.
They're up there. So meaning that this person has fire. They have understanding. They have passion. They have drive. They have certain things going on, right? And this staff here, or this wand, is very phallic in nature, which then kind of goes in hand with the idea of that your driving force of you're planting a seed. I know it sounds awful, but that's what it is. You're planting the seed. You're putting things out there to get good things to come back to you. You're doing certain things in a way that, is very pointed. If you have passion and drive, everything you do is with intention for something to happen. He doesn't have his mouth open. He has it closed, and he's looking out into the horizon. He's not looking at us. He's looking out into the horizon, meaning that he's paying attention to what he's put out there, what he's planted, so that he's kind of watching things grow and happen. And again, that's fire. So if we plant all of these seeds in different places, let's say we plant an orchard, then if the fire happens, it's going to take everything away. So there's always a give and a take. There's always a good and bad. There's always, push and a pull in a certain way. And this person's looking to make sure that whatever he's pushed is really going to come up. Okay. We see lizards here. Lizards just kind of correspond with the idea of that, it doesn't have to be a warm-blooded kind of, we can come from all walks of life to get to this point, right? It's not just a human quality or a natural mammal quality. It's all across the board, and also that the idea of a very arid or dry place, again, with the fire and the idea of that's all encompassing of that kind of makes sense to me. And see this little guy down here? Chameleon, right? Or like a lizard, meaning that you can always move how you feel is necessary. You can always change what you need to, and that's part of your passion. It's part of your drive.
Okay.
The chameleons that we used to get at stores when I was a kid that really didn't change color, but they were like these little lizards that you'd see like if you went to Florida or a tropical place. Like they blend in with the foliage when they need to, and then they come on, the patio when they want something else. But I feel like energy is always changing there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I can see with these 2 cards. This is what we would consider major arcana, meaning that it's the Fool's Journey. It starts from 0 and goes to actually 21. There are 22 cards, but 0 is the 1, right? So, and this would be a clarification card or a PIP card, minor arcana. It gives us personality traits, whereas this is more of a conceptual. This gives us actual personality traits.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's so much information with just one card, let alone two cards.
Sure.
That helps me tell a story. And there are a lot of people that read specifically with a major arcana, which is those bigger 22 cards that are very very present in the world that we see, like the Magician, the Tower, the Devil, like all of those cards, because they're very conceptual in nature. So we can talk about, oh, you've got the Devil card, you've had some manipulation going on, you have some vices, you have things that you're working on that try to get there, or you're looking at something like this that's very qualifying or clarifying in the idea of, oh, this person in your life, your partner, you're this, you're that. So you can kind of look at that all-encompassing and determine what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And with tarot, there's also ethics as anything else.
Sure.
And so we're not supposed to, and I would never. It's just an unspoken rule. We don't take a Hippocratic oath or any sort of documentation to say that we won't be doing certain things. But the ethics is that we're not going to tell people your situation unless you give explicit permission to do so, or you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. So what stays in my office or what's said in my office stays in my office.
Sure.
Of course.
It's not for other people to hear, other people to witness. Yeah. So that's an unspoken ethic that we do uphold as readers who take this as a professional, basis.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, there's just lots of things that I can tell by these cards. Some of the cards that I just talked about, like, a music card, like, yeah, it's cool, but I get all of that information based on that.
Yeah. Right.
So I want the dirt.
Yeah.
I want the skinny.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow, thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on and everything.
It was a blast.
How can people reach you for your services?
Yep. So I'm on the Soul Sanctuary website. You can find me there. I'm on the socials, the Instagram, the Facebook. I am word of mouth. I don't have a TikTok. I just don't have the time to dedicate to such, as but.
We'll link all of your stuff too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm by appointment only. I do private parties. I don't do advertising or anything like that. It's just I'm only one person over here.
Yeah.
So but as long as I can make a difference, that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a fun episode.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much for coming
Anytime.
on. Yeah, we'll have to have you back to do the tipping of the table.
Tipping.
Let's do some stuff. let's have some fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you so much.
thanks, guys.
Happy Halloween.